And good afternoon, everyone. Delighted to be here. This is a great part. When you're General Secretary, you get involved in difficult things sometimes, but occasionally you're involved in something that is really very pleasurable. And of course, this is one of those events for me today to present an award. I had hoped to do it at the Brit Awards, but I haven't quite made that. But this is just as good. So I think I'm going to announce them, yes. The winner of the London and Eastern Award is Mary Chapman. Well done, Mary. Well done. I think we're going to... Southeast. The winner is David Ross. Well done, David. Well done. There you go. And the West Midlands, the winner is Stuart Webb. Well done, Stuart. Well done, Matt. Well done. Thank you. And the East Midlands is Richard Gallagher. North East Yorkshire and Humberside is Sally Outram. Well done, Sally. Well done. And the Northwest, the winner is Ros Billingham. Unfortunately, Ros has actually been taken into hospital, so I understand that Steve Hewitt is going to step up to accept it on her behalf. Steve? Well done, mate.
Good. Give Ros a
The Southwest winner is Jonathan Hughes. Well done, Jonathan. Thank you. Scotland is Sonia Cassidy. Well done, Sonia. Well done. There you go. And Ireland, Maureen Reynolds. God bless all here. Well done. Okay, and Wales is Ian Rowley. And then is this one else? Well done, Ian. Well done, mate. There you go. God, this is exciting, isn't it? You could get used to this. And look at this, a gold envelope for the National Award, which goes to David Ross. Well done, David. Well done, mate. From this side. Well done. Colleagues, yes, a fantastic ceremony, and it's a pleasure for me to be able to follow on from presenting what are very important awards, although I just want to add to what the chairman says, a big thank you to all our nominees, and indeed every one of you, because I want to speak to you about the value we as a union attach to the work that you do. You know, union learning representatives like yourselves give Unite a value beyond its mere functionary role. Last week, a great comrade of ours, Len McCluskey from Belfast, died. Innes was a brilliant human rights activist, a feminist, and a trade unionist. So allow me to quote what Mary Robinson, Mary, of course, as you know, is the President of the Republic of Ireland and recently has served as chair of the World Justice Project. And I'm going to quote Mary, for this is what lifelong learning and trade unionism is all about. She said, experience taught Innes that change could not be delivered through well-intentioned promises for a future. Change required timetables, outcomes, and a keen awareness of power relationships. For those who have, they can always argue that tomorrow is the right time for change. For the have-nots, today is not soon enough. That is the context of lifelong learning in Unite, and that's why Kenny and his managers are absolutely correct to insist on timelines and outcomes. Lifelong learning is a key part of our union's agenda. It's at the forefront of our ambition for our members, ensuring that education is not only readily available, but more important, that it is promoted in the workplace. Education is, in itself, worth pursuing for our members. It brings with it so many pleasures and personal benefits, which are themselves invaluable. No doubt all of you here today will have had your own personal stories on how learning has changed you. Not simply in your role as an employee or a union member, but perhaps how it changed you in your personal life as well, whether being a father or a mother, an aunt or an uncle, a friend. Because education changes all of us. And that is why it will remain a priority of mine and a priority of our union, Unite. For us as a union, there is another role for learning and education, a role that complements our work as the most effective voice of organised labour. We are proud to use learning as a tool for recruiting members and retaining them, building a relationship with our members and giving them a confidence and a sense of achievement that for some may have never been available elsewhere. Education gives our members empowerment, and it also strengthens our union. First and foremost, of course, Unite must be a union that effectively organises members in the workplace to win better pay and better conditions. Education of our members in the workplace is a catalyst for achieving those overriding objectives. Before universal education, trade unions were the bodies that wanted to educate working class communities. The Workers' Education Association was established in 1903 by the trade unions and provided working men and women with the opportunity to get an education. The slogan, educate, agitate, organise, encapsulated how workers could improve their lives. You know, if you think about it for a moment, isn't that a wonderful slogan? Educate, agitate, organise. It tells us all we need to know about the emancipation of the working classes and the role that organised labour played in achieving it. And we know from our proud history and traditions that it was successful. Trade unions have always been a force for good in our society. From the abolition of child labour and the struggle for women's suffrage, through the fight against fascism, the building of the welfare state, the creation of the National Health Service, right up to equal pay and health and safety regulation, the minimum wage and the family-friendly policies of today, trade unions have always been on the side of the angels, and we should be proud of that fact. That's why it's always been so important for me that we never forget the role of education. the role that it plays in the work we do in the workplace, day in, day out. Education changes lives. It changes our life chances and the life chances of our children. It gives us a voice. It can give us power, power for good. And all of you here today know that. You are making this a reality. Colleagues, I also want to tell you about the successes our union is having elsewhere, so that when you go back to your workplaces, you can be confident with our members about the good work that Unite is doing throughout the union. We've come a long way in the last 2 years, although I think we all know that there's a lot more still to do. The initiatives we have launched are changing our union for the better. Look at our leverage strategy. We're sending a message to bad employers and politicians that we are ready to adapt to a changed and increasingly hostile environment. Deregulation and greater freedom for bad employers will not prevent us from defending our members and organising effectively. Through collectivism, solidarity and effective trade unionism, workers can organise in new initiatives, new ways to win, knowing that their union will always be there, backing them all the way. Our 100% campaign means that Unite Workplaces will be the best organised and the most effective of any union in the UK and beyond. We are developing an e-com strategy to engage with a new generation of union members, making our communications the best in the labour movement. And let's not forget how our young people today have been politicised by a government that is determined to attack them, have been failed by an economy that offers no jobs, 1 million of our kids on the dole, surrounded by doom and gloom. The danger of another lost generation, and it's our duty to give them hope for the future. Take our community membership, a new innovation exclusively developed and implemented by Unite. For the first time, those not in employment are welcomed into the union family, adding another dimension to our strength across the United Kingdom and Ireland. We offer training to individuals who want to become community activists. Our activists work in their communities, building up groups, educating, there's that word again, educating people, empowering people to work collectively to do something for themselves. In Leeds, community groups are campaigning against workfare and organising regular demonstrations against employers engaged in this modern-day slavery. In London, they have organised benefit buddying, linking the unemployed with people in work. In Sheffield, they've set up a phone tree to protect their members in case of eviction from their homes. And community members across the country are demonstrating their support for our industrial members in their disputes by supporting pickets and protests. United in action. Our schools programme will visit every 15-year-old across the UK to educate young people about the role of trade unions in our society. Something, of course, the school curriculum should be doing itself, but doesn't. Unions are by far the largest voluntary organisation in our country, and yet, according to our lords and masters, we don't warrant a mention in schools' civic studies. We intend to change all of that. And then there's the CLASS think tank, CLASS, the Centre for Labour and Social Studies, for the first time bringing together academics and political and economic scholars to forward credible ideas that have for too long been hidden by the mainstream media because they challenge the orthodoxy of austerity and cuts. Finally, there's our political strategy. How long has our union and others spoken about changing our political system so it better represents our members' interests? Well, now we have a strategy to deliver this, and we're taking action. In 2015 and 2020, we must reverse the decline in working class representation in Parliament and see more MPs in the House of Commons that have our values, the values of decency, fairness, and justice, the essence and ethos of collectivism. This is how our union is changing for the better. This is a new, modern, progressive union. Unite is a union that puts the interests of our members first, a union led by its members, and hopefully with a General Secretary that will always be on their side. Your role is and will remain central to our future. I've been stunned, literally stunned, by the number of ordinary members when I go round the union that have talked to me about their experiences of our education programmes. Members that have told me how Union Learn has fundamentally changed their lives. You should be very, very proud of that. Very proud of the individuals that come to me and grasp my hand and tell me stories that I could talk to you about, but no doubt you can regale to me 10 times over of how that learning, how that education, how that support that you give has made an impact on people's lives. You know, in our lives, we're engaged in all kinds of different activities, in work, out of work. And if you can make the claim that you touched somebody's life and made it better for them, then that is incredibly something to be proud of, and you certainly do that. All our union learning organisers are working on at least one of our 100% campaigns, and learning organisers offer support to the officers in order to bring responsibility in offering flexible educational opportunities. By April this year, the English Project will have trained another 300 union learning reps in just 1 year. What a fantastic outcome that is. In the first 3 quarters of this project, we have had over 4,000 Skills for Life new members, new learners, and over 1,400 ICT Level 1 new learners. I'm proud that we are using our learning agenda as an organising tool to build our union through the training we offer. I'm proud that we always work with union learning reps and officers to negotiate a learning agreement with employers. 25 have been negotiated this year alone to date, and that's a fantastic continued movement of this project. And we'll be expanding that into every region and every sector of our union as we move forward. Every weekend here in London, we have at least 150 migrant workers, like Gloria, attending a Unite organised informal education programme. The reason it's informal is because they are disenfranchised from the education funding stream. And therefore, if it wasn't for Unite, there would be nowhere for them to turn for help. The education we offer through our alternative education modules includes English lessons, IT, numeracy, and literacy. And this helps our members and their families to become more active in their workplace and in their communities. It helps them to become better citizens. And look at the recent success of our Durham Miners Political School, held at Durham University. The Durham Miners Gala, of course, is the biggest trade union event in Europe. I want to thank, I see Karen's here, for the work that she and her region do here. The biggest and most fantastic event in Europe. And our political school runs alongside it, bringing together hundreds of our members and provides 3 days of intense education on a wide range of political issues. These initiatives are so important for developing the knowledge and skills of our members and complementing the work you do every day in the workplace. So let me thank you, colleagues, every one of you, for what you do for all of us. And let me make you a promise. I will be relentless in the pursuit of achieving the best education and lifelong learning in the workplace for our members. That means giving you the resources you need to make this happen and expanding our reach into every part of the union. I make that commitment here to you today. So to all our learning team, led by Kenny Barron, let me say thank you. And colleagues, in thanking you, I want you also to thank your partners, your families and friends without whom you could not do the job you do. So please, from me, take back a thank you to them. I'm proud of you, and I know that working together, we will be proud of Unite. Thank you very much.